Alright, so I'm back, and today we're gonna revisit one of my first videos I did, that being, or one of my earliest one, that being of G2 Hooligan. Now, I do apologize, I don't have his missiles, and I don't have his rear wings. I've lost those, and the reason for that being is I've had this particular figure in my collection longer than any other toy. This is probably my oldest possession, period. Yeah, I'm like looking around my room thinking, I really don't think there's anything I own that's older than him. This figure came out in '94, and I saw it and I really wanted it, so I mowed a whole bunch of people's lawns, and then I walked the about 5 miles to the nearest pharmacy, because this was at a pharmacy. You know, saved up my money, bought him, and walked home with him. You know, my parents were mad, and I'm like, "Where have you been?" I'm like, "Well, I walked to the store." And they're like, "Why?" I was 10 years old. I've had this figure for 20 years. 2 decades. That's 2/3 of my life. I've had this particular figure. Like I said, I honestly don't think there's anything I own. I know not toy-wise that I've had longer than this figure. So yeah, he means a lot to me. I want to buy a new one just to get the missiles and the wings and put them on this version. And for something being 20 years, I think like the stickers are great condition, and you know, he's got a little loose joints, but I mean that's average on the cyber jets. So anyway, I think he's in great condition other than that. So yeah, he's supposed to have a spring launched missile, or not a spring launcher, a pressure missile, which they brought back recently in the toys. Instead of springs, they use pressures where you just push on the missile, and then the little claw opens up just enough to get past that ball, and then once it gets on the other side of the ball, the claw snaps down and it just shoots the missile. I mean, we all did that as kids when we had like seeds, and we'd like squeeze them just right, and it would be, you know, watermelon seeds. Did that a lot with those. Anyway, so he's got these landing gear here, and here. And the wings do fold in. So, you know, like if he's stationed on the ground, you'd have the wings in, and then when he's ready to take flight, you fold them out. So to transform him, you fold the landing gear up, like so. You take the legs down, like this. And then you take this whole, grab the legs, and you just pull the whole assembly down like so. Rotate the knees forward, and then you rotate this arm around like so, and it just comes up right there. Unpeg this section here, and you'll see a peg right there, and then a hole for it right there. And you rotate this around like so, and then you fold this whole assembly down, and there's 2 little notches here and here. Not little, they're actually kind of big, and they'll fit into these slots down here, right here and right here. So you fold this whole assembly down, plug it in, and then you can fold the wings down, and there you have Hooligan in robot mode. And he's a little back heavy, and as you can see, his elbow is incredibly loose. I have glued this many times, but you know, through 20 years of transformations and stuff, it's not holding. So yeah, really cool. I really dig this guy. I know I have his missiles somewhere. I'm pretty sure I showed them off in the first video I did of him, but I don't have them. I don't know where they are right now. So yeah, wings, like I said, they can fold out. I always like to, you know, whenever I'm displaying them with flyers and like trying to make it look like a flying armada, I'd have his wings out, but when he's just standing around, wings are down. Just like I do jet mode. Posability, his head is on a ball joint. Rotates side to side, goes back a little bit. But it is kind of hard to get in there a little bit. And then this little panel here, you can fold that down if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. Shoulder is on a ball joint, so great range of motion there. Up, down, around. Elbow also on a ball joint, gets great range of motion there. This arm will actually hold a pose. This one doesn't. Hips are on ball joints, and the knee is also on a ball joint. So great range of motion. Like I said, he's a little back heavy, but he does. I do still really like him. And here he is next to the Seeker mold. So about half the size of the Seeker mold. And that's how the basics used to work. The basics used to be half the size of deluxe, and then mega would be like about the size of a deluxe plus a basic, and then ultra would be twice the size of a deluxe. So yeah. All in all, because I am incredibly biased towards this particular toy, I would give him a 10 out of 10, but I know that's not fair, so I'm not going to give you guys a rating on him. I think he's a really solid figure. I really like him. I know a few years back, KO Toys, back when they were doing the all the Seekers, they had teased doing Hooligan, and I got really, really excited, but then they collapsed and never saw it. So, to all the third-party companies out there, if you want my money, make me a Hooligan figure. I would love to buy another Hooligan. The Cyberjets in general were my favorite part of the G2. They really gave us the ball joint technology, and just made these figures so much cooler than the older Transformers. I mean, this guy is just incredibly posable in comparison to anything in that line. Anything from G2 or G1. I mean, he was the start of the whole him. I keep saying him, but I'm meaning the Cyberjets. They made 3 molds for the Cyberjets. They repainted all 3 as Decepticons and then all 3 as Autobots. And then from them, everything else since then has been more posable. So this was really the first start of it. That you could have a fully posable robot and still have it transform into a cool looking vehicle. So, or animal. Because shortly after these guys came out, that's when the Beast Wars first hit. So, anyway, yeah, like I said, I really dig this figure. I really like him a lot. He is the oldest figure I have, by far. I do have some Beast Wars that I got when they first started coming out, but a lot of them I had to replace most of, if not all of the figure, because they got damaged. But this guy, when I really got into Beast Wars, I put this guy away because I didn't utilize him very much because he's obviously not a beast. So I think that's what saved him in my youth, of not getting demolished like everything else did. But I always come back to Hooligan's awesome. I love Hooligan, and I would love to get a classics version of Hooligan. Although, because of the way he's designed and his posability, he almost is his own classics homage, because the classics gave us updated version of our favorite characters, more posable, and he is that to begin with. So I don't know. So my question of the day, and I'm pretty sure I asked this when I first reviewed this guy, before I was even really doing question of the day, is what's the oldest Transformer that you guys have in your collection? Which ones do you guys still cherish to this day, even if they are not like him. He's not in perfect condition. But if they're not, you know, and you still cherish them, and like me, I would buy a new one of him, just scrap the new one for parts for the old one, as opposed to just replacing the old one. Is there any figure in your collection that you do that for? So yeah, there is Generation 2 Hooligan. And I don't think his colors are offensive like most other G2 figures were. I think he's pretty... I mean, yeah, it's flashy, but flashy works. And real quick, before people start saying things, the movie Hooligan that came out does not count. He does not count. That thing was a piece of shit. I think they called it Fear Swoop. No, that's not Hooligan. No. That's one of the reasons why I really, at times, have a hard time liking the movies, is because sometimes they take my favorite characters and they redesign them so that they're, you know, cool and movie-esque, and it just ruins it. Like Hooligan, I mean, he was just a repaint of, I don't remember the guy's name, but it was a dreadful idea. I really did not like it. Does not do the character justice at all. So